Hello everyone, how's your day going? Mine started with this little surprise. Mystery box. Shall we open it? I'm gonna put it right back here. Mystery thing. Aha! There's your dead giveaway. That confirms it. Ta-da! It is, in fact, the C200. There's a lot of rumors about this guy, and we knew something like this was going to be coming in. Other than that, I know nothing about this, but I'm sure our video product manager, Brian Young, has a lot to say. So, without further ado, let's call him in. All right, so you've been talking to Canon for a while. You know a little bit more about this camera than I do. Well, a lot more. So I'm going to give you the floor and tell us all about what we can expect from the C200.
Well, as you know, the C200 really builds on the legacy of the C100, which was an extremely popular camera out there in the marketplace, but fell short in a couple ways by today's standards, in that it didn't really meet full 4K, did not do 4K, it was only an HD only model. Here we've incorporated all of the 4K feature set. We'll talk about that in a little bit more detail. But as well, they took the time to improve upon some of the ergonomic, and now also improve upon the feature set that it goes, kind of stretches all the way up to what a C300 kind of provides. In some ways, maybe even a little bit more. It actually provides a very interesting coverage of the space. Right. And so let's talk about in detail a little bit more about it. So first I'm going to talk a little bit about the ergonomics.
Right.
And so the ergonomics of this camera are great. So the first thing that you can see is gone is that the upper handle part with the audio adapters built into the upper handle. On this camera, the XLRs are built right into the body. And that's a huge improvement for a lot of people because you don't necessarily have to have that big handle on the front. So if you're using the camera in a gimbal or something like that, or you're mounting it into a tight space, now you can strip the camera down to body only. You can still get the audio into the camera. It has an integrated high quality viewfinder, but they've also changed the LCD panel. So where the LCD is located, rather than a little flip out on the C100, now they've created this new mounting bridge up on the top here. And so now we can mount the viewfinder or the LCD panel so that if we're doing a shoulder mount or something like that, we can rig it that way. It's fully rotatable, so if we want to spin it around so that we can do like a selfie mode, we can do things like that with it. And you can also relocate the whole bridge onto the back. If you did want to have the LCD further back to the rear of the camera, then you can relocate the whole bridge back here and then flip it around so that now you've got it on the rear of the camera. The other thing that you can do is it comes with this nice little suspension for a shotgun microphone, but this suspension can also be taken off this mount and mounted right to the body of the camera. So you can actually rig the camera down by taking the handle and the LCD off, put the suspension mount down here, and now you've got a nice little grab and go package. So if you're just shooting, you want to handheld things and run around and do some quick pickups and things that way, now you've got a great grab and go package that's also lighter weight. Size-wise, the camera build quality and whatnot is very similar to that of a C300, but slightly smaller and slightly lower in weight.
And as I was saying too, like this little back end here just looks so much like the 700 that when I saw it, I saw that first and I was like, oh, it's kind of like a C700 mini version, but then you said, no, it's more like a C300. And I'm like, oh yeah, you're kind of right. I guess we're both kind of right. It's interesting that they've incorporated their two most recent camera designs into this little guy.
It is. It's very cool. But the familiar how you turn it on, where most of the operational buttons on, the handles removable on the side like the C300 was. The bridge of connectors on the back is similar to the C300 in nature.
Let's talk about our favorite thing, though. Our favorite thing is the fact of where they've replaced the audio controls.
Yeah, the audio controls are right in the back of the unit. So I mean, if you need to make any of those audio level adjustments or whatever, they're right in the back of the unit. So
you don't need a step stool anymore.
Yeah, you're not fussing up on the bridge or anything like that to adjust those controls. So that's really great. It now has the SD card slots are in the back of the unit, just on the back here. So again, you can use SD cards like the C100, but also in 4K. At 150 megabits on the SDXC cards. So we could run in that mode as well. Gone are the AVC HD record modes of the C100, but remaining in HD is the MP4 mode.
Right.
So we can still record an MP4 and 35 megabits.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and then they've added now all of the UHD and also full cinema 4K modes on the camera.
Yeah. So when I went through this, what's going on to the card, it only allowed me to record in Ultra HD and HD. So it gave me two resolutions. But
when the camera releases, it'll also have the cinema 4K mode.
It will.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it'll be the full 17:9 cinema 4K or UHD 16:9 selectable or full HD.
Right. And so also we've got a CFast card slot in there as well. Tell us a little bit about why that might be a big deal.
Well, the CFast card slot on the side is really part of this extension. As I'm saying, in some ways it also even goes above and almost beyond the C300 in some ways. Yeah. It can do up to 60 frames in 4K, full cinema mode.
Wow.
Right? So it could do up to full 60 frames. Yeah. And we can record that onto this CFast card on the side. And you go, well, hey, I do that already on a C300. You don't do that today in RAW on a C300.
Right.
And that's the real big difference here, is that they've introduced a new RAW light profile.
Right.
And so I can record in full cinema 4K RAW light.
Right.
And it will maintain the bit rate at around 1 gigabit per second.
Right.
So that's really only about 10%, 15% lift over full ProRes.
Right.
ProRes 4K is 880 megabits.
Yeah.
Right? So this can do full RAW light recording at around a gigabit per second.
Now, I don't know if it's just me, but it feels like they're kind of taking aim at Blackmagic design a little bit, you know, at the Ursa being able to record onboard RAW at that, you know, in a certain price point, and I feel like that was sort of there's a trend towards that now. There's a need for that now, and
Well, I think a lot of people in the industry, they want to be able to shoot RAW, and they don't want to necessarily do that with an external recorder.
Right.
And they have projects where they're doing things where I want to do green screen work. I want to integrate, some CG work. I'm doing, a short commercial or whatever where I need some effects that I'm going to put into that. I'm doing multiple layers. I'm doing heavier work in post. And I want to do more color correction.
Yeah.
I want to be able to push things around more in post.
Yeah.
And so having that raw onboard recording is significant, I think, in a camera where this is going to be priced. I mean, it's going to be priced in around the $10,000 range Canadian. Right. So I mean, this is an amazing price point for that kind of functionality, in the fact that it's really taking a bit of both worlds, really. And you look at what the cost would be to put an external recorder on. I mean, often at times you have to pay for some kind of firmware update, as well as buying the unit, as well as maybe even buying a firmware update in the unit to be able to record RAW. Right? And so that could end up being thousands of dollars. Well, that's all built right into this camera.
Yeah. Now, there's speaking of this camera, there's another iteration of a body design that allows users to have a much more compact body for, like,
that's right. They have a body only version. So we have that version right here. So basically, it's exactly the same camera. So everything on the camera, as far as functionality, feature set, record capability, frame rates, everything is identical. But basically, what they've done is they've stripped off the electronic viewfinder here in the back, and they've also ships without the handle and without the LCD panel and those other kind of accessories, so that it is basically a head only. It is or a body only type of camera. So I mean, if you were going to put this on a gimbal, you don't need any of that stuff. So why? And a lot of times it's just getting in the way and adding weight. So if you're going to use it on a gimbal or something, then you might, if you know it's going to live on the gimbal a lot, then maybe this package is going to allow you to use a lighter weight gimbal, or allow you to get bigger lenses on or whatever, because you can position it on the gimbal properly or balance it better. Or if you're using it in some type of industrial application, or maybe you're putting on a jib arm, or put it on a wire cam, or any of those types of things, right? So anything that you need the body only.
Which seemed like maybe 5 years ago, it's like, oh, it's a bit of an esoteric product, but now it seems like 80% of most camera work is on some sort of stabilized device. It's flying in the air, so it's kind of now an important design, I think.
Well, and now you don't have to spend, like, there's going to be roughly a couple $1,000s difference in the price between just buying the head only or body only and buying the camera that has the integrated viewfinder and all the other accessories. So you're basically saving those dollars, which makes it more cost effective to have that second unit camera to now place it in those applications. And so you can use this as your run around, grab and go or whatever, or your main pickup camera, and then maybe buy another body that's going to go into those specialized applications.
So there's some other stuff to do with time code in this, and you've got a solution to sort of address its particular needs versus what the C300 Mark II can do. So talk to me a little bit about that.
So the time code, I mean, on the C300, it has a dedicated in-out time code connector. And so this camera does not have that. Similar to a lot of other cameras in its class. I think it's a problem that you see kind of fairly widespread in cameras that are in that $10,000 and below class. But there is an interesting solution that's out there in the market, which is this little device here, which is called a Tascam 701D. And on this product, it actually has in the side here HDMI ports. So I can actually take the HDMI video out of the camera, put it into this unit. It will strip the time code off of the HDMI and sync so that now your time code, your audio files have the same time code as your camera. So that now everything is fully synced now between the recorder and the camera. And again, if the camera's capable of it, which this camera is, you can set up a record trigger even over the HDMI and now trigger the audio unit. So, and this will allow you up to 6 channels of audio as well. So again, I can put an SD card in it. It's battery operatable.
Perfect. So you go from 2 channels to 6 channels also.
Actually, this camera has up to 4. Oh no, this is 2 channels. Sorry, this is C300. That's 4.
And what's this retail for? What are we looking at?
It's under $500 Canadian.
So it's amazing.
Yeah,
it's incredible. So there's your solution right there, and you get all those added benefits as well. Very cool.
And just to finish off, the last couple things. Obviously, a big step up from the C100 is the fact that this camera incorporates the SDI. So having the SDI output on the camera, just for monitoring and output purposes and things like that.
And I hate HDMI. Like it's always like this finicky thing.
You're always pulling the cable out and all that stuff. So it's nice to have that solid SDI connector on it. It comes as an EF mount only camera, but again supports the full autofocus, dual pixel autofocus. It has the latest generation DivX6 processing inside of it. That's why it's capable of up to 60p. And in 4K it can do 120 frames per second. Or sorry, in HD it can do 120, and in 4K it can do 60.
Perfect. Any last thoughts in terms of what you're expecting to see from users or in the next year with this camera? Is it going to be one of their strongest contenders in their line?
I think it's going to be a very, very popular camera. I think it's a hit for them because I think it covers such a broad number of features that people are looking for and want to have out there. It's like if you're a blogger and you only need to have HD stuff and whatever, and you just need light recording or whatever, it's perfect for that. It's perfect for all the other things that you'd use a C100 for. But if you want to step up and do some cinema work or some light cinema work or commercial work or things like that, where you're going to do more post, push things around more, then it's got the onboard RAW. That's amazing that it can do all of that. So I think it's going to be a hit for them.
That's exciting. I'm excited to try it and to see what the RAW can do. That's always the big deal, And I always love Canon's color space, and I always love what Canon can do in post-processing. So that's going to be very exciting.
This is a prototype, so we can't really record any video with it right now. But we'll do another video coming up, and we'll get some files. We'll push it around as soon as we get a full working unit. And the camera's going to be delivering in June, so not too many weeks away. End of June, beginning of July. We'll have actual working units, so we don't have too long to wait.
All right. Well, exciting. We're going to be looking forward to June to have this camera in our hands and in the hands of all the shooters. And that's it for now. So thanks so much for watching, and please subscribe to our channel, like our video, and comment. We'd love to hear from you, and expect more juicy stuff from this camera this coming year. Thanks so much, Brian.
Thank you.